I gotta admit, I did shed a tear
Shed a
earlier
tear? Oh, really? Why?
because this actually a dream come true to talking to both of you on here.
You're so
You're
sweet.
so sweet.
He
We
does love you guys.
We love you too.
I'm not trying to cry right now. Alright guys, welcome back to the next episode of Baker's Banter. We all know you all know about the guy in the corner, Jack. And we all know the host, Jen Nicole Baker.
Thank you.
But we got this freaking special guest right now.
Very special guests.
My favorite gay people of all gay people.
Your favorite gay people? Is
My
that what you said?
favorite gay people. Give it up. My good friends, Hailee and Kendra.
I really thought he said my very gay people at first. But then
Also
I
accurate.
realized,
Of all gay people.
But he did say favorite
Favorite gay people. Of all gay people.
I love that.
Because there's a lot of gay people out there.
Of all the
It's
gay
true.
people, we are the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. He absolutely thinks that. He has been obsessed with you guys ever since we met you guys.
It's because we're besties, right?
Bestie for life.
Besties for life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
actually
right.
saw a piece that you guys posted on Instagram with Derek saying after he met us,
Yeah.
he told your sister
Oh, yeah. He wanted Katie to
find a girlfriend.
go for girls after he
and
met
he goes,
guys.
you know what? He said maybe, or what did he say? He said, we'll see.
Yeah, he also tells her, he always tells her, he's like, someday.
Didn't she
someday.
say, unfortunately, Derek, I'm straight? And he said, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said, unfortunately, Derek, I do tend to find men attractive. Like, it's
Yeah.
just never been
It
the
is
girls for
unfortunate,
me.
you know?
And he
But
said,
Derek knows what's up.
yeah. Well,
Girls are
that's
it.
because the last time we
Amen.
saw you at the Blues game, that was the first time he had met Siri, and
Yeah.
Siri and her partner were there, and we didn't know this had happened, but Derek went up to them, or they went up to Derek, one of the two, and he stopped him, and he's like, "Are you guys gay?" And of course they have no clue where this is gonna go,
Right.
and they're like a little apprehensive and nervous that it's not gonna go well. And
Like,
you never know
which
what
is
people are gonna
fair.
say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, not everybody is kind about it, and I know that. And so they don't know what he's about to say. And he's like, "That's freaking cool. I love gay people." And so they came over and tell me and Katie this, and we're like, "Whew, thank goodness that's where it went."
Yeah, that checks out.
We really didn't expect anything else from him because he does. This is true. The first time we met you guys, I think it was his first experience with a lesbian couple or gay couple where he was he's seen it online, he knows what it is, but he doesn't know people in person.
Yeah.
Right.
But Katie actually has a best friend from high school who's gay, and he just didn't know. He's never met a boyfriend of his. He her friend Dylan has not been in relationships a lot. It's
So
not
he
like he
didn't
has
see
a
it.
long-term
Yeah.
boyfriend or anything like that. So when Derek sees Dylan, he just sees Dylan. He didn't know that Dylan dates guys.
Right.
And so after we met you guys, he was just so excited about it, thought it was so great. And then we tell him, we're like, "Derek, Dylan's gay." And he's like, "Oh, really?" He had no
I was
idea.
shocked.
You didn't know?
No.
Huh. Well,
Some of us are easier to spot.
yes.
Some of
Like
us
in a
blend
crowded
very
room,
well.
everyone would pick me out straight
Oh,
away.
100%.
But her,
Me a little less.
a little less.
I'm a little camouflaged.
Yeah,
But
see, I just don't think Derek
stereotypes.
sees people like that.
Huh.
If you guys met Dylan, you'd know.
Yeah.
I love Dylan. He's lovely, but there's no hiding it.
Yeah.
Right.
It is
The
his,
gaydar is strong with that one.
he's got more bags than I do, and his fashion is impeccable, and the way
There
he
you
carries
go. Oh, I love
himself,
that. I love that.
everyone knows. But
Yeah.
Derek just doesn't see people like that. That Derek just sees people, and so until he is told
love
Dylan
that.
dates guys, then that's how he knows that Dylan dates guys. He didn't realize from Dylan's personality and the way he carries himself, he
Right.
didn't automatically assume that because that's just not how Derek sees
It's okay.
people.
We can work on the gaydar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll teach you, Derek.
Yeah. Do you know what
I
do you know what
get
the
it.
word gaydar means?
Gaydar?
Gaydar. It's like radar, but gaydar. Like, you know, like the weather radar when the tornadoes are happening and stuff like that. You watch the weather radar.
Oh.
And
So
you could predict like the weather
Based on the radar.
It's like the same thing, but like with people, it's called a gaydar. I could predict perhaps if they're gay or not,
Yeah.
depending on what it looks like.
Yeah. So you'll say like some
Like
people have a really good
Kaylee
data.
and Taylor.
Who's that?
My sister's Katie and her friend Taylor.
Katie. I thought you said Kaylee.
And then I think Katie.
Yes, Katie and her friend Taylor. Derek saw them once kiss on the lips
Oh,
because we were drinking and it was Katie's 21st
happens,
birthday
yeah.
and they were just giving
Yeah.
each other some love. And Derek has held on to that.
Ah.
And he does not
Since.
think.
Held on to it since.
Yes, Derek does not think that they are friends. Derek does, in fact, think that they should be girlfriends.
Well, yeah, sure, of course.
yeah.
Right, Derek?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
honestly, fair. I'm
Yeah.
in love with my best friend, so
Yeah.
yeah. I
No
mean,
complaints here.
it's up to Katie. You know, we got to let Katie do what Katie wants
Yeah.
to do. If that's the choice that Katie takes at some point, you know, she is currently dating a guy and he's a very nice guy and we like him. And I
good.
hope for them that works out because, you know, nobody wants people to experience heartbreak if they don't have
No.
to.
true.
But like if some point Katie makes that decision, like we will support her and we know you
I was
will
gonna say,
support her to
he
the
will really
fullest
support her.
extent.
That's great, actually, because my brother was the very first person that I came out to in my family.
Yeah. How did
And-
that go?
He was a lot younger. He was like, I believe
he was, like, 8?
at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you know this friend of mine that like I've been hanging out with and talking about a lot? Well, she's more than a friend, and I think she's going to be around for a while. You know, I like her. And he goes, Chef don't judge. And I was like, what?
From the Chef Boyardee commercials.
And that's all he said to me
Chef.
was, Chef don't
judge.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, man, love you.
We were like,
And I was like,
cool.
wow, you're like
great.
8 and you like have accomplished so much in like the span of 8 years compared to like people living a lifetime of
Yeah.
Right.
homophobia and not understanding to
Right.
like not judge love.
Well, I feel like that's like a testament to your parents. Like they obviously raised both of you in such a way that he at 8 was just fine with it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think having
I also think you guys were so close that
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they grew up very close.
My
that he was
brother-
just like, all right, I love
my
you.
brother's my other best
You know?
friend, and I
Yeah.
honestly think that like even if I was to like murder somebody, he'd be like, all right, I know how to dispose of their body.
Yeah.
You know, I've done research for this moment because I've seen it coming from a mile away.
yeah.
He's
So
one of
how
those
old
guys.
were you when that happened?
Whenever I told him, I'm 8 years older than him, so 16. But I knew in 7th grade, whenever I was like 11, that I like girls.
How so was he the first person at all that you told? So like from 11 to 16? Did you
No,
not,
I
like-
think the first person that knew was my cousin because she was in the same grade as me, and
Okay.
we're 4 months apart. So we grew up, and she's basically my sister.
Sure.
And so like obviously we talked every single day and hung out every single day at my grandma's after school, and she knew before I did pretty much. She was like, yeah, you like girls. So she was definitely the first person like technically in the family, but yeah, but it was a really hard road for me. Like I felt a lot of internalized homophobia, a lot of fear, a lot of backlash just because I grew up in the smallest county in North Carolina. So like a lot of people there are not very accepting, especially, you know, 20 years ago. So it was hard mentally, but
That's
I
much
pushed
better
through.
now.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so much better.
What if you could go back and tell like your middle school self something now? Like what would you?
Such a hard question.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is.
sure there's a lot of things you would tell that person, you know, but if you could like overall, what would you encourage them?
Well, I think whenever you're a lot younger, your feelings are really big. You know, like when you're in that situation, like your emotions, like they feel like it's your life and that it's going to be forever. So if I had to go back in time and talk to my middle school self, I would tell myself it's going to be okay. It's going to take time, but everything's going to work out and you're going to be happy and your family's going to be supportive. And, you know, I mean, obviously if I know what I know now, back then, I'd be like, you're going to inspire so many people. So that's where a lot of our content comes from, is like whenever Kendra and I make content, we're like, I want to make content for the younger queer people that I, like as a baby Hailee, would have looked up to.
Okay, so you know, it's gonna be okay. Like you make content for queer people to show them a good example, that sort of thing. Like,
Yeah, like I think that if I was in middle school and I saw creators like Kendra and I, and, you know, saw that representation of happy and healthy and successful, then I would have been so much more optimistic about my life, because I tried for so long not to be gay and just be normal, because it would have made my life so much easier. And like,
You thought it would have.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the idea that someone could choose to be gay or not, most people would choose not to be gay because there's so many repercussions from it,
Sure.
which is one of my mom's fears whenever I came out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I also think that like that's just like a good way to live, is like to strive to be somebody that little you would be proud of.
Yeah.
So that's
Totally.
like,
you know, like I
think
don't
about
know
that a
if
lot.
whenever
Me
Derek
too.
was younger, if he had a lot of representation on the internet. Or
Right. Well, that's what I was going to
resources.
ask you. Like, do you feel like when you were younger and you were watching TV, like, I mean, I know I didn't see a lot of gay representation. Like, do you feel like there was any? Did you have anything to look up to?
I didn't even know someone like Ellen existed until I went to college. I spent a lot of my childhood being a triathlete, and as soon as I turned 15, I started working.
yeah, she
So,
didn't watch a lot
I didn't
of
watch a lot of
media
TV.
anyway.
Yeah.
But
I
at
was
the
in
time, there
a-
wasn't a lot of media to watch about
Right.
gay people.
And social media didn't
Yeah,
exist.
yeah,
yet. Yeah.
You
I
know.
feel like the same way about people with disabilities, people with Down syndrome. Like, the only people I knew who had Down syndrome were people we met through the Down Syndrome Association.
Yeah.
Like, those people didn't exist in a play or a musical or on TV
Yep.
or in the news. Like,
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
I know now
a
you scroll and
thing.
I'm seeing someone with Down syndrome that's a model, that's
Yeah.
like changing the
Oh my
lives
gosh,
of
I can't
millions
remember
of
her name, but
girls.
she's awesome.
Grace Strobel.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
She's actually from St. Louis.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
she
amazing.
lives in St. Louis. We actually asked her to be on the podcast, but we couldn't get the timing to work out. But
She's out there kicking ass.
she's
Yeah, she is.
awesome and she's beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
And the way that she like can carry herself and talk, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I feel like it's the same with the gay community, with the disability community. There's so many different types of people.
Yeah.
Like, even just Down syndrome as like diagnosis, there is Derek, who is very verbal and very likes to talk and has a lot to say and, you know, very expressive. Whereas there's Katie grew up with a kid who I ended up babysitting in high school, and like I was with him every day after high school, and he does not talk as much. Like, he talks, and he can communicate, but talking is not his strong point. But he is an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
And he went
awesome.
to the World Games and
Wow.
competed at the Special Olympics World Games for golf.
Wow.
And
That's
he's
so cool.
And every day when I picked him up, it was, what sport are we playing today? Are we going to go outside and kick the kickball? Are we going to throw the football? Like, we were active every day because
I love
that's what
that.
he wanted to do. And that's what he was like, you know, really, really good at. So, and I feel like it's the same in the gay community. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
different
Different
ways.
versions.
Yeah,
It's like the
exactly.
commercial we saw this past summer. I don't know if it was a commercial with Grace in it or not,
no, I
but
can't
it was like,
remember
you
what it-
tell me that I can't be smart, and it's like this huge.
It was Madison. It's the girl from. Have you seen the movie Champions?
No,
Okay, you need to watch Champions.
I saw.
But it's the commercial where she goes up to the bar and like
And tries
asks
to
for
order
a
a
drink.
margarita.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
It gave me
It got
goosebumps.
Haley full goosebumps.
It was so
it's
good.
an incredible commercial. It went like ultra viral,
Yeah.
and it deserved to. And she did a great job. She is in the movie Champions. And the movie Champions is so freaking hilarious. It's about a Special Olympics basketball team, and it is
I'll have to look it up.
unbelievably
We'll watch
funny.
it,
I
yeah.
think you can watch it on Amazon Video, so you'll have to watch it. It is like such a feel good. It gives you such a good laugh.
I
You
love
remember
that.
when we saw it in the theaters?
I did.
And what did you think about like seeing people with Down syndrome and people with disabilities on the movie on the big screen?
It was crazy.
Did it make you feel? How did it make you feel?
It makes me very happy to see all those people on that big screen.
He was giggling the whole time.
Is it a funny movie?
Oh, it's so
Hilarious.
funny. It's I mean, you know Derek, he's so funny.
Uh-huh.
Imagine like
Yeah.
8 or 9 people with Down syndrome. Like,
That's amazing.
hilarious. They don't all have Down syndrome. They have a variety of different disabilities, but there are like I think 4 or 5 of them who who have Down syndrome in the
I love
movie,
that.
and the girl in that commercial is in that movie.
She is a powerhouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it is like, even with us, with when we started on social media, I mean, Derek's 26 now. When we started, he was 23 and 22 maybe. And he always, every time we posted something with him drinking, we would get flagged. We would get videos removed. We got banned multiple times because
Why?
so many people would report it, that we were like allowing an underage person to drink, and he's not underage. And it got to the point where like we don't really have a contact at TikTok anymore, but for a while, and like we had a contact there, and I had to tell her like,
Just keep an eye out for it.
like, I don't know what you guys can do on the back end, but please stop allowing people to delete our content where he is drinking, because he is allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was drinking to excess or like
Yeah.
acting a fool. Like, it's like literally just him ordering a beer at the airport when he's excited to go to WrestleMania.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
And people are
Yeah.
getting like up in arms about it. And I don't know what she did on the back end to like help solve that problem. We don't still
Yeah.
run into the problem where like our videos are getting removed like
yeah.
they used to.
Oh, I remember those days.
But it was like really a very like point of contention for us that we did
I
not
believe
know
it.
how to like navigate. But okay, so back to you guys a little bit, like when you and I want to get into your story too, but I know your story is very different.
wild story.
But I like when you
Wild dreams right now.
when you
This is my dream right here.
to talk to Hailee and Kendra.
Yeah.
I
On this
know.
podcast.
I
Making
know.
it reality, man.
I know. Well, luckily they're our friends and we can invite them over.
Heck yeah.
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 Dream comes true, man.
I know. So when you got to the point that you did tell your parents, how did that go for you? And like, how old were you?
My mom had asked me a couple times in high school, and I always denied it because it was very hard for me to be like, yes, this is who I am whenever you're in high school, because I didn't want to make like a statement that was going to hurt me for the rest of my life. And in that moment, I was terrified because, judgment from other people is like one thing, but like judgment from your parents and the people that are your safe place and like that love you and, want you to succeed is like another kind of
Whole
fear.
other thing.
So I actually waited till college, and my mom was like, hey, you just need to tell me what's going on. And I was like, I think you already know. And I think it was rough at first. I think that it was a little bit of a shock. I think that when you grow up and you have a kid, you have expectations, and you think that your kid's going to be, in quotations, normal. So you think that they're going to lead a normal life, like with a normal wedding and like have a family and be successful. And I think in that moment, maybe the fears of losing out on all those things really bothered her. I think, and same for me too. I was nervous that I was never going to find a healthy, happy, successful relationship or be married or have a family, just because like when you're younger, 10, 15 years ago, you were told these things. Like, how is a gay family ever going to have, a kid, or how difficult is it? Or my mom's like, like how difficult would it be? Because people lose their jobs for being gay.
Yeah.
Especially back then. Like,
Yeah,
I remember things being very scary back then.
Yeah. And so it took a while, but I think that, actually opening up and talking to my mom about it made her realize that I've always been this version of Hailee. Always.
Sure.
And it didn't change me, but coming out almost grew that confidence that I've been waiting on for so long, to be like, this is who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm going to be successful. I will have a family. I will have a happy, healthy marriage.
I think that's one of the reasons why we are so open with our life online, because I feel like a lot of people, when their kid comes out or when they're getting ready to come out, think that they're not going to be able to grow up and have a normal life and do normal things.
Sure.
And we are a living example that is, you're totally capable of that.
Yeah.
That goes back to Derek drinking. Derek's old enough to drink, and that allows him to have a normal lifestyle where
Absolutely.
someone can go to the airport before going to a huge event and enjoy a beer.
Yeah.
It's totally normal.
That's
yeah.
a totally normal 22-year thing to do.
Right.
Yeah, and we can put on dresses and go get married
Yeah.
if we want to.
So do you think that once you finally like accepted it yourself, like is that when that kind of like internal dialogue shifted for you?
100%. 100%. I think I dealt with it a little bit more throughout the first couple years of my big relationship before Kendra. But I've always known. Like,
Yeah.
because there's like societies like, how do you know if you've never, how do you know? Sexuality is fluid, and it's true. Sexuality is fluid, and if I wanted to not be a lesbian tomorrow, I'm sure I can make that happen. But for me, it felt so solid in my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
Like
do it.
liberating, maybe.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
very liberating to be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now we can move on. Now I can focus on other things and not be so guilty of how I'm feeling. Because every time, like, I would send a text or, like, be like my girlfriend, like, it would feel like weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to be like, hey, I have a girlfriend. Like, if you were to say right now,
Sure.
I have a wife, it'd be like
Right.
a weird. Cause
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, did
I mean,
just say
it's
that?
weird to say I have a fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Like
similar.
it
Yeah.
was like, it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
So I get
And it
that,
doesn't
like,
hit you until it hits
when
you.
it's something that you feel like is out of the societal norm, I'm sure that weirdness is like even greater.
Yeah. Now I'm like, that's my wife.
Yeah. Hell yeah, it is. Look at her.
Yeah.
So, okay, to shift to you, like, I know your upbringing was very different.
Oh, yes.
Complete
So,
opposite.
Yes.
like, dive into that a little
All
bit.
right. So, I don't know if you know the story, Derek. Do you know about my parents?
Nope.
You about to find out, huh?
Blah blah blah.
It's like, I am
All right.
ready.
Okay. All right. You ready? Okay. Okay.
Right.
So I have two moms. They're lesbians. They're married. They had a donor who was their best friend to
Oh,
have
really?
me. Mm-hmm. And he is also gay.
Oh, okay.
And he has a husband. So I have two moms and two dads. They're all gay.
Never been together.
And they were
boy,
mom and dad were
yeah.
never together. He donated to have me. My
So
mom's
you know
actually
your donor well.
Oh yeah, I just talked to him the other night.
He's
I was having a
great.
couple drinks. I
That's
called him and
awesome.
I showed him him and his husband my garden. I'm very excited about my garden. Last time we were there, they live in California. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a huge plant person. So we were in California and they have a huge variegated monstera, which is a beautiful plant and very, very expensive. It's like thousands of dollars.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so my dad's husband was kind enough to give me a cutting, and I carried that little cutting with me on 2 flights and 2 layovers home. I rooted it, I planted it, and it's now growing beautifully.
Oh, I'm so happy
So
for you.
I was thrilled. That
what
was
an
a total
accomplishment
tangent,
as
but
a plant mom.
I was very excited about it. Yeah, I just FaceTimed with them the other night to show them all my plants. But yeah, so my mom's tried for 3 years with frozen sperm, and it never took, which is a lot of money now, but especially back then was a lot of money. And then they asked their best friend to donate, and I love the story about my dad because it shows exactly who he is as a person. He said yes. They said his name's Kevin. Kevin, we would like to ask you a favor. And he said yes. And they said, no, we want to have a kid with you. You probably need to think about this. And he goes, I don't need to think about it. Yes. He was like,
I love
kids are
that.
made of love. I love you guys. You guys love me.
You're going to make
What
a
do you
kid that
need?
you love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can help.
Yeah. So he donated.
Alive.
Circle of life.
Yep. Circle of life. For real. He donated, and here I am.
So do
28
you have any
years later.
siblings?
Yeah, I have a half brother. So my dad was married at 19 because he had gotten a woman pregnant, and that was the thing to do at the time. And so they got married. And she had his son. And very quickly after that, he realized that he was gay.
Okay.
And so then they separated. And I mean, he came, actually, my parents met at PFLAG, which is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, which now is pretty, I think it's more parent oriented now. I think at the time it was just like a safe place for gay people. But they met there, and he was like newly out with an infant and single, and was like, what do I do? So my mom's kind of like helped him along, and they became really, really good friends through that. And then it was years later when he donated to have me, because my brother is
41.
I think so. 40,
Yeah, he's
40 some.
Yeah, so like over 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
didn't know about him till I was 13.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you know, like, how early into your childhood did you know that you were gay?
Oh, I knew when I was 11. I knew as soon as I hit puberty.
Okay.
Yeah. When
I
like
feel like
people
there's-
start
you
to have
know-
feelings
So
about
you
other
know
people
when you're attracted
oh, yeah.
to somebody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When like you start to have feelings about other people when you hit puberty, you know, you're like, oh, that person kind of makes me nervous or like makes my hands sweat or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that. As soon as
Yeah.
I hit puberty, I was like, my best friend makes my hands sweat.
Like all the girls are talking about the butterflies in their tummy about
Uh-huh.
the boys, and I'm like, I feel that way about you.
Yep.
Like, what is wrong with me?
Yep. Oh my gosh. I specifically remember watching a girl that I had a crush on get on the bus and her hair swaying. And I was like,
Wow, look at it. So were you out in high school or?
yeah, I came out pretty quickly. I came out when I was 11.
Okay.
I think I realized a little bit earlier than that. But I had my first girlfriend when I was, I guess, 12 or 13.
It's like middle
um,
school.
Yeah. The first person I came out to, I'm actually still really good friends with. She's awesome, but her brother was gay, so I knew that she was a safe person to come out to.
Sure.
But that was in 6th or 7th. I guess that was 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was high school being out?
Actually, it was okay.
Good.
It was scary for a little bit, but there were other gay people in my high school.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
you
think
went to
that
a big high school
I did.
that's pretty
I did.
diverse.
I did. Yeah.
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 And
I
her
mean, that was the
mom's-
reason that we moved to where we lived when I grew up, was to be in that school district because it was
Yeah.
the best school district.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna tell the story about my
Uh-huh.
mom's?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you have a kid and and your two moms, her moms got together with any of the other gay parents, and they all got together, went to the school, and said, "Here's the situation. My kid's not gonna get bullied.
Yeah.
You will have their back."
Yeah.
And so every school she went to, they knew that their parents were being serious, and I felt like that made a big difference.
I think
Yeah.
that made a huge difference. I will say that I did get bullied for having two moms, though.
Yeah.
I didn't really get bullied for being gay as much. I mean, I did, but like not like awful.
Yeah.
But I definitely got bullied for having two moms in elementary school, of all places, when I was really, really little.
Yeah. Well,
um,
kids are mean.
Yeah.
Even now as an adult,
Yeah.
you get bullied for it.
For having two moms, yeah.
You know,
Oh my
there are
gosh.
people saying crazy outlandish things, saying that her mom's like basically conditioned her
Raised
to
me
be
to be gay, yeah.
and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. I won't say
Crazy
the words
stuff.
that they
No.
used, but
But yeah. Yeah, I do think you're right though that helped, because there were like 3 or 4 families that all had two moms. And then I think another family that had two dads, and they would meet with the principals. They met with the principal before elementary. They met with the principal before middle school. They met with the principal before high school. So
Yeah.
every new school we went to, like the faculty was aware.
Yeah. Well, they advocated for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that we talk about a lot with Derek. And, obviously with him having Down syndrome, he had an IEP and he had a lot of professionals that were aware of his diagnosis and his needs in school and that sort of thing. And truthfully, Derek, because my parents, I've always praised them for this. Like when people ask me about Derek and how we were raised and stuff, like they do feel lucky that I was older than him. So like I was already kind of paving the way of like where we were going to go to school, what we were, what school was going to look like. But my parents were always adamant he will go to school with
Yeah.
his sister.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where like there was another option where
Yeah.
Derek could have gone to school where he would have only been in a classroom with other people who had disabilities. But my parents have always said, Derek is always going to be surrounded by people different than him.
Yeah.
He needs to go to school in a situation where he is going to be surrounded by his peers
Yeah.
who are all different than him. So then in elementary school, those people, those kids he grew up with, like when he got to middle school and high school, and some people did, start to bully him in middle school and high school who didn't know him his whole childhood. Those people who went to elementary school with him protected him in middle school and high
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
those kids.
I would have been one of those kids.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
even look at him.
Yeah. You said that, and Hailee was like,
I was
I'm
one-
looking in the camera. I'm like, where
I-
you guys at?
"You wanna fucking
I
go?"
was one of those kids. Like I made enemies in high school because I stood up for people who were not nice.
Yeah.
Or like, well, I didn't stand up for the people who were not nice.
Right.
I stood up to the people who were mean
Right.
to others who didn't deserve it,
Right.
who were like Derek or
Yeah.
had a disability or were a little different. Like, you weren't going to treat somebody badly who was different and make fun of them because they were different in front of me.
Yeah.
You were going to get told what
Yeah.
I had to say.
100%.
Grand slam.
And
Yeah.
I've always been like, my thought process was like, I need to be this way so that someday when he's the one that needs somebody to stick up for him, that good karma comes around
Yep.
and somebody like me is going to protect my brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was like always my mindset.
Yeah. My
And-
brother's 8 years younger than me, and I felt that way.
Yeah. I mean, you don't treat people badly in front of me.
Also, like, your entire life in society and in the world, you're going to be surrounded by people who are different than you. You
Yeah.
know, learn to get along with each other.
Right. So
Yeah.
you guys have been married for 2 years now?
Almost 2 years.
Almost
in
2 years.
2 weeks.
On
Almost 2
the
years.
28th of this month, it'll be 2 years.
Can you believe that, Derek? It's
Can
been
you
2
believe that?
years.
Crazy.
You know,
I
we
know, right?
met them when they were fiancés.
Uh-huh.
I know.
So who proposed to who? Did you both propose to each other? What does that look like?
So very quickly, I knew that she was the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
And so she had always been like, you have to wait at least a year to propose to me. So I took that very serious.
Because we went
it's
to
like
a wedding
it's a
together.
thing in the gay lesbian culture
yes.
specifically that like lesbians move fast.
Yeah,
right?
were
Yeah,
you-
we
yeah.
Yeah.
We did good. I
They
was
always
finishing
say-
my master's at the time when we met, and she was finishing her.
My bachelor's.
her
Yeah.
bachelor's,
So we were
so
pretty
s-
busy when we first met.
so
So
we
I
did
think that
good. We drove an hour every single day to see
Yeah, we
each
lived an
other.
hour apart, so we drove like 2 hours a day because
But
we
we
wanted to
waited-
spend the night together, you know,
But we waited at least 7 or 8 months
to move
until
in together.
after graduation to move in together. So
Yeah.
we didn't U-Haul that hard, you know?
Right.
They
Yeah,
always
yeah.
say, "What
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, what does a lesbian bring to the second date?"
A
A
U-Haul?
U-Haul.
U-Haul.
Yep.
That's so funny. Okay, I knew that was a thing, but
Yeah.
like I know you guys have talked about it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, so 7 months. So you proposed.
Yeah, I waited till before social media. A lot of people actually don't know this, but we were actually engaged before social media. I proposed to her on New Year's of 2019.
No, 2018 into 2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
at midnight.
The very
midnight,
first day
okay.
of 2019, I
Yeah.
asked her to be my wife, and I was like, I don't want to go another year without you. You know, I was planning for you to be my wife, pretty much.
Where were we?
We were on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
at like Cherry Grove Beach in South Carolina, and
At midnight, and
At
all the
midnight.
fireworks were going off. You could hear them in the background.
and it was just us, and my brother was recording. And he
Yeah.
helped me plan it.
And we had just
and-
come from a Sky bar, so we were a little drunk.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. And what about yours?
I proposed to her in February on Valentine's Day, right? Or on our anniversary. And
Of
So like a
2020.
month later, or like
No,
a year later.
a year later.
Okay, a year later.
On a cruise, on our first and only cruise we've ever been on. But I proposed to her, and I told her that I thought that everybody deserved to be proposed to.
Oh.
And I wanted her to know that even if she had never asked me, that I would still have asked her.
Were you
So-
nervous?
Yeah, I was freaking the fuck out, bro.
But
Also, I was on the balcony in a cruise ship. So if I dropped that, it's gone.
Did you have a box?
No,
Or it was just the ring?
it was just the ring.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
scary.
it was terrifying.
So did you?
Yeah.
Were you
So-
surprised?
oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
She's
She
terrible.
had no idea. I'm awful at surprises.
terrible
she had
at
no idea.
surprises.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I feel your energy. What are you up to?
Yeah.
You know?
I did so good though. Okay, so this was so we started social media right before the cruise basically. Because the cruise was in February and then everything shut down in March, and we celebrated our first 1 million followers in the first week of shutdown. Because I remember, because we were alone in our apartment, we couldn't see anybody, we couldn't celebrate at all, and so we got a little popper and we popped it in our
confetti
apartment
popper?
by ourselves.
I almost blew a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, she did. It
was
was really
very-
loud.
We had confetti when we celebrated 1 million too, didn't we?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I said I really want to film a video of our outfits for TikTok really quick before we go to this dinner. So I set up the tripod and I turned on the video and was like, okay, just come out on the balcony with me and like look cute. And so we came out on the balcony, and then I reached inside, and it was in a little tiny pocket in my jewelry case, which was right next to the door. And I reached inside and I grabbed it. And you can see in the video, Haley's like, what are you doing? Like in her face is like, you know, and I pull it out and I got down on my knees. She was like, oh my God.
Because I didn't see it coming.
But so I got it recorded.
yeah.
I know.
Were you surprised when she proposed?
I think I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I knew.
Yeah, I knew, but I didn't
Yeah,
know.
congratulations. How's
Thank you.
yours?
It was okay. I didn't know, but I did.
But you kind of knew.
I knew, like at that point, it was like we had looked at rings in like February and March. Like I knew the ring was done because we had designed it together. So like I knew it. I knew it was in his possession in March. We had discussed the fact that neither one of us wanted it to be like a holiday thing.
Right.
So I anticipated it would happen before Thanksgiving. And it was, we were going to Salt Lake City the last weekend in October. It was October 28th. And I'm like, it better freaking happen.
Yeah.
And
like,
he
"Get on
knows
it."
I love the mountains. And one of his best friends had moved to Salt Lake City.
And that's way before Mimi Warren passed away.
It was. The last time we saw our grandma was the day I came back from getting engaged. We like had like pizza and celebrated at my house with, because
that's very sweet.
the family wasn't there with us. We were with his friends when, you know, the proposal happened. So they picked us up from the airport and surprised us. Well, I think he knew, but surprised me
Surprised
with
you.
extra people being at my house when we
Yeah.
got home, and we had pizza and we got to see Mimi, and then Mimi got sick right after that and passed away. But so it was kind of one of those things where it was like I didn't know because he had me so confused, and I knew like he has a little bit of anxiety sometimes. And like when something big is coming up, like he tends to like, you know, wear that emotion.
Yep.
And I'm very in tune with his emotions.
We're
And
the
so,
same
like,
way, yeah.
Exact same way.
I thought that I would be aware of him having, you know, a big thing on his chest that he was, you know, getting prepared for. And I also knew that if he had a ring with him, it would be in his backpack.
Right.
In the room we were staying in, I was sleeping closest to the door. He was sleeping against the wall. And so his stuff was like right under my feet. And I had to move the damn backpack so many times.
man.
Was it in the
out of my
backpack?
way. It was in the backpack. Every zipper of the backpack was open.
Oh my God.
It was like the most lackadaisical he's ever been with the backpack. And it's like his travel backpack. Like I'm very familiar with the backpack. And I just like knew if he had it, it would be in there. And he just like didn't care about the backpack at all. At any point in the weekend, I could have picked it up and gone through it. I didn't do that because I didn't want to like ruin anything
Right.
for myself. But like I just was like, there's no freaking way he is being so nonchalant with this backpack if there's a ring in there. And then when it did happen, we were going up the mountain and his friend had scoped out this like mountain view spot that we were going to pull off at, take pictures. And so, you know, he knows I'm a content creator and his friend knows I'm a content creator. So like they knew I wanted a good picture in the snow, regardless of if there was a ring involved. I was looking to get a good picture in the mountains. And so we go up this windy road. I get car sick.
Oh no.
And I only knew what I needed to know about the plans.
Right.
They like didn't give me that many details on purpose. And I was just like, I had let go of control at that point. I was just like, it's his trip. It's his friends. I'm doing what I'm told, whatever. I had a great outfit on. So I was really hoping I didn't waste the outfit, which Katie helped me pick out. And Katie was so mean to me when we were getting ready for the outfit. She was like on her period and she had cramps. And she was like, no, that's not it. And she knew what she was helping me
I can
with.
hear her saying
But
that
she's
in
like
my head.
literally
100%.
just laying on my guest bed looking at me like, no, try again. Do you have something else? Like, not
you do a
helpful.
very good Kitty impression.
And I've been listening to her for a long time and I love her so much. But she was like, you know, trying to play it off too. And at this point she told me, she's like, Jenna, I know you and Chris talked about it not being a holiday proposal. I know nothing. And you need to start mentally preparing for 2024.
Yeah.
And like she had me convinced that
good
I
on
needed
her.
to start preparing for the fact that like it wasn't going to come till 2024. And I was pissed. And I'm like, it's been months. There have been so many opportunities.
damn it.
I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, at this point, I'm starting to tell him, I'm like, you do know I'm intending to get married in 2025.
Yeah.
And I need time to plan a wedding.
Yes,
okay?
you do. Yes,
You
you
really
do.
do.
And I'm like, I cannot start planning until you do your job.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so then we get there and we're on this windy road. I had all of my possessions that I needed to not be nauseous on
Right.
this road. But I didn't know it was going to be that windy.
Yeah.
And nobody told me to bring them with me. So I'm sitting
You're
in the
just
back
SOL.
seat and I'm like, we get on this road and we're like 3 or 4 minutes in and I'm like, how long is this road that we're going to be on? And his friend's like, oh, like we've got like 25 more minutes before we get to the picture. And I'm like, oh, and his friend who's driving me has had to pull over for me to throw up because I got car sick before.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Jenna, you get car sick, don't you? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be fine. I'm like trying not to like have a
CBMs.
problem. That's what I have. I
Yeah.
literally had them with me, but they were at the house.
Darn.
Like I take them with me when I'm flying on a
Yep.
plane. I take the Dramamine, I take the bands.
Yeah.
I have all the things,
Ginger.
but I didn't have them with me in the car in that
Ginger
moment.
drops.
And so then his girlfriend's like, Jenna, if we need to switch, like we can pull over, you can get in the front seat. And I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We go for another like 3 or 4 minutes and I'm like, okay, I think you need to pull over.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, I think I need to
no.
switch.
Did you puke?
I didn't puke.
Oh, thank God.
But I get in the front seat, and at this point, I have completely forgotten about the fact that I'm hoping to get engaged
Of
in
course.
this outfit.
You're just trying not to
And
vomit.
I am like white knuckling everything. I am breathing
Yeah.
like I am so focused on my breathing. At one point, Chris asks me from the back seat, he's like, "How you doing, Jenna?" And I just like didn't respond to him. And that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if I speak to him and he doesn't respond to me, I get so mad. And he knows that.
I'm
And
looking at
I'm
Hailee
getting
right
a
now.
look.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I hate that too.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while I'll talk to him when he has like his headphones on and I like won't realize he has his headphones on. And then I'll get mad at him because he didn't respond
Yep.
to me. And like it is one of my biggest pet peeves. And he's like, "How you doing, Jenna?" And I say nothing. And he's like, "Jenna?" And I'm like, "I'm concentrating." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. And then we got up there and thankfully as soon as I got out of the car, I had the fresh air.
And
it
you
was
were okay.
freezing, but it was beautiful and I was in awe of what I was looking
Wow.
at. And
That's awesome.
it was snowing.
That's
Aw.
perfect.
And then we like walk over. And then next thing you know, he's on his knee and all 3 of our friends are recording us and
Yay.
it happened and I'm like, oh, thank God it's freezing. Let's get back in the car.
so
Aw.
cute.
But no, so it was
Oh.
great. And I love the mountains and I love the snow and the fact that he was
Good.
able to like pull it off in a place that he knows I love so much is like amazing. But I was like definitely anticipating
Yeah.
it. But by the time it was happening, I was very caught off guard and very much like everything else was going on.
You should ask him how he remained so chill with the ring in his possession because I personally had to forget about it. I got it like probably months prior
Right.
to proposing.
Yeah.
And I put it in my purse and I when I received it, I put it in my purse and I did not see it again until I used it. I was like, I have to forget about it. I have to pretend like it's
Oh
not
my
there
God.
because she would pick up on my energy
Right.
and she will know.
He just like knew, like I'm hard to surprise.
Yeah.
I'm really hard to surprise. I'm bad at it. They threw a surprise 30th birthday party for me last year and I accidentally
Woohoo,
ruined
30.
it for myself.
She just turned
And-
32.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I accidentally ruined it for myself because I unintentionally saw Katie's location and she was downtown and I was like, that's weird. And then I like ended up checking it again. And when I checked it the second time, like 6 of my friends were downtown too.
Oh, no.
And so I
Oh,
just
you're
like
like, yep.
knew something was up. I thought I was getting engaged. I made videos that day thinking like I'm about to get engaged.
Oh
So
my
I like
God.
made a video just to like have it. And I didn't do it again when I got engaged because I was embarrassed of the first
my
time I did it. But I like literally made
like, I don't wanna
videos
jinx
being
it.
like, I don't know what's happening. Something weird's going on, but I think I'm going to get engaged. And then I walked into my surprise 30th birthday party and I had kind of ruined it for myself. But I was still very surprised. Like
Yeah.
the people
Well, you
who
weren't
were
getting
there-
engaged,
I
so you
wasn't
were
getting
surprised.
engaged. I was surprised. There was way more people there than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Like all my cousins were there who I
That's so
didn't have their
sweet.
locations on.
Right.
And so like, you know, and I had literally ruined that in August and he's proposing in October. So he knew he had to put in the
Yep.
work
Yep.
to like pull it off.
Stealthy.
Make your car sick first.
Yeah.
Forgets everything.
Yeah, it worked.
Speaking of love and stuff, though, do you do reaction videos on YouTube? Do you guys do YouTube?
We should. Okay, so we're trying to get back into YouTube. Jack actually just edited our first vlog
There
that
you
he
go.
took over
Good
for
job.
us. It like the editing the YouTube videos. I think we've talked about this before. Like it became such a like point of stress for me, and
Yeah.
it's also just so time consuming.
We couldn't do it.
So to like
We haven't
be
edited
running
yet.
the business,
Yeah.
handling the brand relationships, handling going live on TikTok, doing the podcast. Like I just couldn't do the editing of the YouTube
Yeah.
videos too. So Jack is actually, he just edited our first vlog that he's going to take over, and we're
Good.
going to slowly try to
Okay.
bring that back a little bit. But reaction videos would be so fun. Derek, you know Derek, he
I
gives
have
the
a challenge.
best reactions.
Yes, Derek, I have a challenge for you. And this
What's
is
the
a special
challenge?
request. And you could say no if you want, yes. We have an official wedding video, and it's like 8 minutes long. But it'd be really cool to see your reaction to our wedding video.
Oh,
It might make you cry. Fair warning. It's
maybe
very
that's the
cute.
first reaction video we should do, Derek.
I'm in.
I'll have to I'll have to talk to you guys about how you set it up and how you like set up the recording and like edit it that way.
Yeah,
'cause-
and we had to get an editor because it is so time consuming and,
yeah,
exhausting
It's
and
actually
stressful.
really reasonable, like, you know.
Yeah, we continue his information.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it. That's some behind the scenes stuff.
Can't we do that for wrestling? That'd be really cool.
Oh my God.
We
Oh,
could
yeah,
totally
you
do
could
wrestling reaction videos.
You could react to wrestling videos for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to work on that. That would be a lot of fun.
Maybe if you do a reaction video, I can come hang out and do a special guest appearance to react with you for the wrestling.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
like I'm in for that.
Because you know Hailee was a wrestler, right?
Did you know that?
Wait, what?
Wait, what? We've been saving that, Derek. Saving it to tell you. How long did you wrestle?
So I started wrestling my sophomore year in high school, and that's how I ended up getting a 4-eyed wrestling scholarship to college.
That's how she came here because she was from North Carolina. That's how she came here
Yeah.
to where we met.
So where did you
I
wrestle?
wrestled for 10 years. I wrestled at McKendree University.
Okay.
Yep. I qualified for the Olympic trials my junior year in college, and I won nationals my freshman year.
So why did you not pursue the WWE?
Well, the kind of wrestling that I did compared to WWE is totally different.
Oh, sure.
So I wrestled freestyle, a little bit of folk style, because that's all we wrestled in high school. But it's like, I don't want to say legit wrestling, but
It's not performative.
It's
correct.
not performative.
It's not
correct,
performative
yeah.
at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when we met, she was jacked, y'all.
I actually
like,
have
she had to
a
walk with
photo
her
if you
arms
want to
like
see.
this.
You want to see how
She had to walk with her arms like this, Derek, because
Yeah,
she was
let's
so
see it.
buff.
Let's see
you
it.
want to see how buff I used
You
to
want
be?
to see how buff she used to be? Because it's wild.
So you know when Hailee
I'm
wrestled,
wild.
she would wear the singlet.
Mm-hmm. We were going to
All
look
right.
and try to find it. We couldn't find it at home.
Oh my goodness. Look at those muscles. We'll have to send this to you, Jack.
Yeah, I got it.
That's a muscle right
I
there.
know, right? That's
Yeah.
her in her singlet, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way
So
in singlet.
Derek recently had to wear a singlet for his Special Olympics weightlifting competition. How did that go for you? Tell Hailee and Kendra, when you first put it on, what did you think?
Well, when I put it on, well, first of all, when I'm wearing it without shorts on, I feel naked without shorts.
I understand. I wore undergarments and I wore boxers on top of it, boy boxers, and then I wore my singlet, so I didn't feel so naked either.
So did you end up wearing shorts under yours?
Yes.
Yeah, you did. I didn't know you had shorts on, but I'm not surprised.
So I ended up wearing a singlet with no shorts, and I was fine after that. So.
Did you feel aerodynamic? Like you could just be like the fastest person in the world for a moment?
Probably.
He
Yeah.
was going for the strongest person in the world that day.
Okay.
So it was he does Special Olympics weightlifting, but it was the first time he was actually participating in a meet, which is
sure.
why he had to wear
Yeah.
the singlet.
So how'd the meet
And-
go?
Really well.
Good.
Good.
What's your favorite lift that you do?
I'm gonna say the bench. The bench is
He-
doing it. My fave.
He benched over 120 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
He deadlifted like 176.
Wow, that's
And
really
his
good.
squat was like 135 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, and it's like
That's like me, Derek. You could like bench me.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Do we need to try that after this? We got a bench in the house.
I'm good.
Derek's like, I gotta prep for this.
Right? Don't draw me.
Yeah.
I may be able to bench you still too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you used to? Because you used to.
My
do
max
weightlifting.
was 140, but I was wrestling at 123. So my goal in wrestling, because I'm wrestling a girl that's my weight, was to be able to lift more than my weight.
That makes sense.
So you wrestle. What about you? Do you wrestle?
No, I don't. But when we have a couple drinks and she starts to try to play wrestle with me, it does not go
Derek,
well.
She doesn't play fair, man.
Mm-mm.
She pulls hair and she bites really hard.
Ooh.
And you can't do that in
I
wrestling.
was gonna say, that sounds like something that would get you eliminated.
Does that get you kicked out?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Derek wrestled in high school.
I did.
What did he didn't last long.
That's okay. Wrestling's really hard. It's a really hard sport,
It is pretty hard for sure.
but it's fun.
But watching it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
you're
alright.
into watching it. He didn't like touching other sweaty people.
I don't blame you.
valid.
I
It
don't
is
blame
I
valid.
would also not want to touch sweaty people.
Right.
I
I
wrestled guys in high school, so I understand.
Yeah, I have ADHD and I have
Me
like
too.
really bad sensory issues. Do you have sensory issues?
Well, I get
The complete
I have the
opposite.
opposite. I need more sensory.
Okay.
Like if it's too quiet, I'm like, someone start talking.
oh, I
yelling,
need
like,
sound. I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
sensory stimulation, but I have sensory feeling issues.
Or like touch.
Touch. And like,
Hailee has
like
that.
when I went to like go wedding
like that
dress
with your
shopping,
face.
I like didn't want to have a expectation in my head
Yeah.
of what it would look like because I knew that I was going to have problems being
what it felt like?
comfortable with what
Yeah.
it felt
Yeah.
like. Exactly. So I like tried really hard not to have like a vision in my mind because I didn't want to be disappointed when I put that vision on and I realized that there was no way in hell I was going to be able to wear that
Yep.
all day. But in high school, I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until my first year of college. And in high school, I played basketball and I was pretty tall and I was always like had to be a forward up front and like right under the basket. And I was tall, but like other people were way taller than me. And I would wear long sleeve shirts and I would not play unless I had my long sleeve shirt. And if I
So that
forgot
people
my
don't
long
touch
sleeve
you?
shirt, it was a big problem because
Yep.
when other people's armpits touched me and other people's sweat touched me, I would freak out. And my parents like knew I had to have a long sleeve shirt and they like would get me good shirts. Oh my God, yeah, it'd be terrible. It would be terrible for me. I wouldn't
She
be
has
able
so
to
many
do it.
wrestling photos.
Yeah,
She
I
should-
actually pulled out all my wrestling photos and some videos for you to look at, Derek. But we
Maybe
don't
that's
to
what we'll
look
have
at
to
Black and white.
react to next. We'll
Right.
just react to Hailee and Kendra.
Right.
But and then I realized later, I'm like, now that I know I have ADHD and I've learned more about ADHD and I understand it more, I'm like, that was a sensory issue.
I didn't realize I have issues with people touching my face.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Now that you say that,
yeah.
I think that that's probably
It's
a
because
sensory.
if I touch
Totally.
her face, my hands have to be clean, and I can only use the back of my hand. To
I
touch
have a
her face.
kneecap problem. When people touch my kneecaps, I freak out.
Oh, okay.
Like, don't do it, Derek. You know better. But it's like
Derek
for
was
what-
like,
I'm just going
really?
to test that out on the
For-
podcast.
with me, it's like for whatever reason, like it's not that bad when my knee is like very secure like this. But if I'm like kind of sitting with my legs like relaxed and like, you know, your kneecap will move around and
Yeah.
that freaks me out.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
have this fear of my kneecap like breaking in half.
Oh.
And I'm like, don't touch my kneecaps. and like
no.
it like back in the day, like my dad used to do it just to like
Mess with
drive
you?
me crazy.
Yeah.
But now like everybody understands that it's like
An
it's a
actual issue.
sensory issue. Like it's because of my ADHD and the way I feel in my body that it like bothers me
Yep.
so much. It's not like I'm just, but I never had an explanation
Yeah.
for it until I started learning more about.
Yeah, I never
ADHD.
thought about it. That's probably why I don't like people touching my face.
Yeah.
I never thought about it.
Well,
I was
stopped-
also diagnosed later in life too.
I stopped taking medicine like a year ago and I just got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to take the medicine anymore. I just want to learn
Yeah.
how to live my life with the brain that I was given.
Yeah.
And it's like, so since then I've tried to like learn more
Yeah.
about ADHD and how people with ADHD don't function well and how they do function well. And
I
try
self-medicate with coffee. I can't function without
sure
coffee.
Yeah.
I
I
definitely
definitely have to have caffeine.
Yeah.
I feel your
like-
pain.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like coffee?
Love coffee.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Derek's done a lot better since he got his CPAP. He like
that's
used
good.
to he used to have a hard time like staying awake
Yeah.
and like and when he was younger, he would never fall asleep in the car. Like the only time he fell asleep in the car was when he was sick.
Yeah.
And then like he started having like some sleep apnea issues, and he was snoring really bad, and like he couldn't stay awake during the day.
Yeah.
And then now that he has his CPAP, he still loves his coffee, but like you're
Listen, I really love coffee. We should get coffee at some point.
yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah, because there's some really good coffee
Love
places
that.
I know. I can show you.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
You do
I
like a
can't
little
wait.
coffee chat.
Yeah.
I do remember something very funny, Derek. Do you remember the last time we hung out? You came up to me and you went like this.
What do you
And
say?
I was like,
How does it-
man, that was the first guy I ever scissored. Remember that? I was like, I've never scissored another dude before.
What is that from? That's from.
You gotta explain it to me.
AEW.
Yeah, explain it to me.
There's Jamie AEW. There's Jamie AEW.
Who does it?
That is Anthony Bowen and Max.
Max Kester.
Max
So
Ca-
it's a
Caster.
group. It's a wrestling team. They're called
Mhm.
the Acclaimed. And Anthony Bowen is gay, and he is out. And like he actually got
that.
recognized recently as like being. I'm not gonna get like the exact title right, but like some sort of like outstanding gay athlete. Like he got recognized for like being out in the
For sure.
athletic
Right.
community. So their whole like shtick in the ring is like scissor me.
Oh my
And that
gosh.
is what they do, and
Got it.
they
So
like
funny.
legitimately like they both hold him up, and then they do this together. Ah! And they like freak out. And Derek actually got to meet them recently.
Oh
and
my gosh,
he-
did you scissor them?
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was like
Men
such a
scissoring.
full circle moment, because we've been talking about scissoring on the podcast for
Quality.
months.
Equality. Men scissoring men.
Yeah.
During
It's-
I like
the
it.
vlog, you can hear when Derek's about to scissor with you guys. You hear your mom going, "It's a wrestling thing, I promise." It's a
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
She's like, we didn't teach him this just to teach him. Like,
Now listen, I get it. You know,
You know?
we get comments like
Yeah.
that all the time.
Mhm.
You know, I tell people to be more original, but I was like, man, I see an opportunity. Never done that before, so let's get it.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, it was
and
so
he loved
funny.
it.
It was so funny.
Derek was, and then the prank that Derek did on you guys.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God,
Wasn't
we
that
talked about that the other
hilarious?
day,
This prank
yeah.
was great.
We did just talk about that. Like yesterday,
We
right?
did.
That, and I have to give you credit, Derek. That prank was all your idea. What did you have the girls do? Tell the listeners.
You mean when I tap my shake and when it gives me a little shake in the kitchen? So
I'm like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
Derek
Uh-huh.
just wanted to tap his cheek so that he could watch you two kiss each other.
Valid, you know?
for the staple.
Oh, we can't
For
do it right
example.
now. No, there's too much. We'll do it after. We'll do it later.
We'll do it later.
Yeah. We'll make a
Yeah,
video
I'm
before
down
we
later.
go.
Earlier when we got started, I did end up. I gotta admit, I did shove a tear
Shed a tear.
earlier
Oh, really? Why?
because this actually a dream come true to talking to both of you on here.
You're so
You're
sweet.
so sweet.
He does love you guys.
We love you too.
I'm not trying to cry right now. The first question is for Stretcher Face. Do you think 11 and Max will be a couple?
Okay.
This is the
I
girls,
did look
right?
this up.
The girls.
Yes.
Yes, I did
Hailee
look
looked
this
it up. Mm-hmm.
I think that there's chemistry there, Derek. I think that there could be potentially.
There's definitely conspiracy theories on TikTok about it.
Yeah.
And that's where Derek got the idea, I think. And he does, like, he likes to pick out girls or guys on shows that don't show signs of being gay.
Mhm.
And he likes to say,
Maybe that's
I
his
think-
gaydar.
Yeah, he's like, I think
You know,
this is going to
We're
happen.
guilty too. We're guilty too. We've
definitely-
been
yeah.
watching The Rookie, and there was a new cop that came on, and there was an older cop that has been on the show before, and we saw their interaction, which was very, very small, and we both saw it, and we looked at each other, and we were like,
Did you see that?
"Do you think?" And we were like, "No, maybe." And then of course
wishful
Kendra looks
thinking.
at the plot line, and she's like, "Oh, she's only here for a season
Yeah.
or an episode or something."
Yeah.
Derek,
So-
Derek's like she's trying to manifest a lesbian couple in Stranger Things.
Should we
Yeah.
ask all of your listeners what they think too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We need
yeah,
to know what
we
you
need
guys
to know
think.
what you guys think.
yeah.
You
we
gotta think
might have
about
to
that.
make this into a TikTok and ask the audience.
You're getting a whole nother season. So
it could
maybe-
happen in the
I
next
know.
season.
I know. It could be happening. Also, Cobra Kai is releasing
Releasing.
season 6.
Okay.
And it won't end till 2025.
That's a long time.
Wow, that is a long time, Derek.
Part 1 is on in July.
Okay.
Mhm.
They're gonna release part 1 this year, and then maybe part 2 next year. Is that what you're saying?
And part 2 in November.
Oh, okay.
And then to finish up with the finale of Cobra Kai in 2025.
Well, you got a lot to watch.
Are we gonna see Tori and Sam will be a gay couple too?
I also looked them up whenever you asked me about that too, and I definitely
Haley
could
came
see that.
prepared.
Is
Well-
it Haley did her homework?
Yeah.
I did. No,
I
because
bet you
we
did.
talked about this at the
Yeah,
Blues
they had a
game.
whole
Yeah.
conversation at the Blues game about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
And he was very. And listen, I watch Doctor Who, and I know you may not watch Doctor Who, but in Doctor Who, they always have a companion, and the companion's always in love with the Doctor. The Doctor's always been a man, but the Doctor can regenerate, right? And he became a woman, and her name's Jodie Whittaker. The
That's the
actress
actor.
Jodie Whittaker.
But
yeah.
but so what were you upset about?
I
Because she was upset about something too on
Derek, because I know that her companion is in love with her,
Mhm.
and the Doctor admits being in love with her too. But
then nothing
But then nothing
happens.
happens.
They don't
let
kiss or
them-
anything.
She lets her walk away, and that was
Ugh.
the end of the season, and
Ugh.
it broke my
We were so
heart.
Are they gonna have a new
upset.
season?
Yes,
Yes,
she
but it's a
already
new doctor. She already
into a new
regenerated.
doctor, which we're really excited about because it's the first Black Doctor,
Yeah, so it'll be really
and
cool.
his energy is incredible.
Yeah.
Which obviously you
he's,
really find
he's
it.
also gay. The
Yes.
actor, like in real life.
He was in the Barbie movie.
Yeah, he was in the Barbie
actually.
movie.
Ugh,
Yeah, he's
but they
really
didn't
great.
do it for you at the end of the season.
No, but maybe they'll do it for you, Derek. Maybe in Cobra Kai, maybe you'll get a lesbian couple.
I hope so.
You mean cross my fingers for you? Yeah.
I'm really hoping to see season 6 to see Tori and Sam will be the gay couple.
Mhm.
And the same thing with Stranger Things where season 5 see Levin and Max be gay couple too.
Yeah.
And there's rumors going around about Will Byers and
Matt and
Mike.
Mike. Yeah,
Is that on Stranger Things as well?
that's Stranger Things, and he thinks they're gonna be gay. But Will Byers, the actor that plays Will Byers, is gay.
Oh.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but he is out, and so and it was kind of recent. Like I think he came out like since we've been on social media for sure. But Derek wants to see him and one of the other guys to get together too. Derek,
I'll cross my fingers for you.
Derek is
We are
down
on
for
it with the gay
storyline.
couples.
I'm crossing my fingers.
Yep, I
All
got
right.
you, bro.
Okay, we have to say goodbye to our friends. Can we wrap this up and say thank you, Derek? Okay, wait. First, before we do that, if our listeners aren't familiar with you, where can they find you?
All of our social media is Hailee and Kendra. So Hailee and Kendra on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
You know,
Facebook. Spell Hailee,
I was gonna
'cause
say
it's-
my wife has got to be special though, and you got to spell her name right. It's
Yeah.
Hailee.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Kendra.
Yes.
Mine's easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Kendra
everything's-
spelled Kendra.
Yeah.
Hailee spelled Hailee.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you can just type in like best cringiest pickup lines ever.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Haley has great pickup lines.
Yep.
And
She
Kendra
really
has
does.
great reactions.
Thank
and
you.
loves Target.
I do, and coffee. I'm telling
Yes.
you, we should go on a coffee.
I gotta break your heart about Target. They're getting rid of their Pride collection. We gotta talk about that. Oh yeah.
What? They're not going to bring it back this year?
Nope.
Oh, no.
No, their love for the LGBTQ is a bit conditional.
All right.
Reduced sales by 5%, so they're removing more than half of their collection.
Well,
Lovely.
that's a bummer.
It is.
It is. Well, that's all right. We'll stick with coffee and plants then. Yeah, we're gonna do a part 2, Derek. Is that all right?
I know I might have to part 2 because there's a lot of it I really want to cover
Mhm.
I
about
know.
this whole gay thing.
Mhm.
I
So
know.
Do you
I love
still
it.
have your singlet for the weightlifting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you
Maybe
a
next
picture.
time I'll bring my singlet and you can.
And
get
you
in
guys
it.
can dress up together. Oh my gosh, I would love it. We can take a pic. It'll be adorable.
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
matchy, matching
We
singlets.
have
Like, can you imagine like a TikTok? I'm already thinking about it. My creative mind is like Derek been like, when you invite your best buddy over to wrestle and it's like a slow-mo like walking in our singlets.
Oh my gosh,
Give it a
would
good
you do a
little
slow-mo walk with
Wrestle
Hailee?
practice.
We'll see about that.
We'll see.
Okay.
Valid.
I
valid.
think
I'll
we
take
could
that.
talk him into it.
valid.
Okay.
Yeah. You just gotta we'll let you wear the shorts underneath. you
Haley
know?
will wear shorts underneath too.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
won't,
Good.
we won't make you uncomfortable.
I don't mind to do it, but
I know, man. They're tight.
It's uncomfortable. It's not
I
your
don't want to make it a
style.
PG.
Derek feels inappropriate in the singlet.
Yes.
It's understandable. Okay, we got to say goodbye. Can you wrap it up and say thank you?
It is beautiful right now to have butterflies in my stomach. These little podcast right now.
Oh.
I really want to hold her hand.
We can hold hands.
That's okay.
She's got you.
Well, thank you, Derek, for allowing us to come on your podcast. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thanks for having us.
It's been fun. It's been fun. We got to make it a part 2, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll
All right,
definitely make
we'll
it
do
happen.
it. We'll do it, and we're gonna get you to react to Haley's wrestling videos and our wedding video.
And the wedding video. Maybe
I know,
we'll
you
do
might
cry.
our first one for Pride, Gay Pride in
Yeah.
June.
Well, that'll be really fun.
That would be fun. I love
I
that.
don't mind to do that.
And then I can get some ideas
Well,
too.
Yeah.
I do like that idea. Before we sign off, Jen, I just want to just discover this real quick. How Hailee and Kendra made first time.
Oh, that's such a good question. I
Oh.
can't believe we didn't talk about that yet.
Okay.
Good thinking, D. We'll wrap it up with this.
We'll just give you a small little rundown. So one day I decided that I wanted to go out to the bars, and I asked one of my good friends, hey, do you want to go out to the bar? And she was my only friend that could go, and so I decided to go. We parked on the side of the road. I stepped outside my car, and she walked right past
And we
me,
made eye
and we made
contact.
eye contact.
Yep. And then I went inside
And
to get a
she
drink.
walked back, and I was like, double take. And I looked at my friend, and I said, I have to go say hi to that girl. I have to. And so that's exactly what I did. I walked into the same bar as her, and I was like, hi.
And I said, hi, hey, hello.
Exactly like that.
I was very
And I was
excited.
like, hey, my friend and I are actually going to be at this other bar, but if you want to hang out tonight, that'd be really cool. I could buy you a drink or something, and maybe I'll see you there. And she's like, yeah, I'll finish this drink, and I'll meet you over there.
And I did.
And she did. And we sat out on the patio for hours.
For
and
like 3 or 4 hours. We had so much in common. Down to like we used the same deodorant. We had the same bank and the same card. Like
same first tattoos.
Yep.
We have our zodiacs on us. Like
Yeah.
just so many
So
crazy
much
things that we were just
in
like,
common.
wow, we have a lot in common. And
So this was love at first sight.
it was
it was definitely connection.
attraction.
We say
It was-
connection.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
connection at first sight,
I,
yeah.
I agree with that. Like, I don't really
Just
believe in the whole love at
like-
first sight thing, but
just like Mikey Will, Max 11, Tori and Sam.
Let me tell you,
Totally.
Derek, when I first met Kendra, I was terrified because I was like, if I like this girl, she's going to break my heart. Look how pretty she is.
And have I ever
She's
broken your heart?
absolutely not.
7 years
she
later.
is so much more than just a pretty face. So she basically was like, you should come hang out tonight. And I was like, I have work at 8 a.m. in the morning, but if you're serious about that, why don't we do a date on Wednesday? And so we waited 3 days, and right before our first date, she called me and she said, hey,
Oh my gosh.
you have a minute to talk? And I was like, sure, what's up? She goes, what's your biggest fear? So like she is like diving into like deep conversations. We had our very first date at Forest Park underneath the fountain that made like all different
that
colors.
lights up in the summer.
And I brought
Yeah.
a big blanket, and I brought sushi and a bottle of wine and glow sticks and
poetry.
some of my favorite books of poetry. And we sat out there until it got dark and talked about our coming out experiences. And
And just she made me fall in love with her right there. What did you do?
we actually saw a shooting star.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my God, there's a shooting star. And she's like, quick, you gotta make a wish. You gotta make a wish. And I was like, why do I need to make a wish when I can just make it happen? And then I kissed her.
Uh-huh. And then I was like, all right, I'm in love.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was the first pickup line.
That
It worked.
That's actually very beautiful right there.
That is
Oh,
beautiful. Great
thank
question,
you.
Derek.
Good
Good job.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a great way to end. We have
Yeah.
so much more we could dive into, but we are going to have to wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
So thank
I
you guys.
really want to have the part 2 right now.
I know, but you have somewhere to be in 15 minutes, so we got to get out of here.
Well,
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
plan another part 2, okay? Thank you so much
All
for
right.
having us.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. You know where to find us. Baker Banter. If you are new here because you wanted to see our good friends Hailee and Kendra, thank you for joining us. We do, if you're into wrestling, we had a little wrestling conversation today. We do have the weekly wrestling wrap up that Derek and I dive deep into all things wrestling every week on Thursdays. So please,
We got to
find
bring her
that.
back tomorrow.
Oh, we'll see about that. We'll see. We'll get her on a weekly
Wait, is
wrestling
tomorrow-
wrap up someday. We record.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
gotcha.
record the weekly wrestling wrap up on Tuesdays. So,
Gotcha.
We should do it today.
oh, but you haven't seen
We'll
Monday
plan
Night Raw yet.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, you
plan
gotta
it
let me
though. We'll
know.
plan
You
it
gotta let me
sometime.
We can't
Okay,
cancel him.
okay.
He's so excited.
Let me get Monday Night Raw and invite her back.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see. We'll talk about it. But you know where to find us. Baker Banter. Follow Derek on Snapchat at Baker Banter. All the things. Thank you for being here. We had so much fun with you guys.
guys.
Thank you for
and
having us.
We will have to do this again sometime.
Yes,
Absolutely.
100%.
Part
Look at
two.
that.
Part
you
two.
guys.
All right. Peace.
Peace.